Hello, my name is Daniel Flores. I am admissions counselor from Kean University. I'm also Ecuadorian from Quito, Ecuador. Came here when I was 6 years old, and I've been living in New Jersey for 33 years. One of the biggest things that I want to mention is that I am from immigrant parents, came here to this country for a better life, and we went through a lot of experiences that I want to share with you, just to give you a little bit of background. We came here in 1986 from Ecuador, and then we lived with my uncle for a few years. I went to school here. I went to elementary school, I went to middle school and high school here, also college. So all those experiences that I went through, me and my family, I want to be able to share with the young men and women who are Latino, who are Hispanic, who are trying to achieve a better life. And that's the reason we all come to this country, for a better life for our parents, for our future children. I remember, during my first and second grade, I wouldn't say they were influential, but because they were my ESL teachers, I think I came to like the way they taught me, which is Miss Garcia, and that was in elementary school. Now, Miss Garcia was my ESL teacher and my regular teacher, so if I spent with her at least 2 years in elementary school. But besides that, one of the biggest influences of my life was a school counselor, which was at Union County College here in Cranford. He was my EOF counselor and also a regular counselor. Now, the reason why I believe he was the most influential is because I've always been a really bad student in math. I have to be completely honest. Throughout high school, that was the weakest subject that I've had. Even though I was a computer science major, that's what I wanted to do with the rest of my life. So once I was able to meet Bob Lazarowitz, I remember Robert Lazarowitz, he would teach me the basics about math. And then he inspired me to do much better, because he wouldn't let me move on to the next section until he knew for a fact that I knew that what he taught me before. And that's one of the things that I credit him with, that I am now really good at math because of him. And also, I made the honor roll 3 times at Union County College, and that was all because of his tutoring and, of course, the way that he taught me how to study skills, which is important. Besides that, I do remember that he also was able to help me with the EOF portion of it, which is the Education Opportunity Fund. Now, that program actually helped me with tuition assistance, with coupons for books, anything that I needed for school. That program was able to take care of it. And not everybody, is eligible for that, because a lot of families, are making too much money or whatever the case may be. But at the time, my parents weren't making a lot, and they wanted me to go to college. So I think this program actually changed the way that I was able to finish college and get the extra support that I needed, which I believe a lot of students don't have. They don't have the resources and the support, and that's why they feel, oh, I think I need to drop out and I just need to focus on working. But that really is not the case, because you got to be able to think with your mind and not with your back. That's usually what my parents always used to tell me. Try to find a job where you can use your intelligence instead of having to, do physical labor, in terms of, not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but just that you got to try to find something that you're passionate about and that you can use your intelligence. Just want to talk a little bit about the schools that I've attended. In terms of college, as you know, I went to community college, Union County College, for my associate's degree. I received the associate's from there in computer information systems. And then for the bachelor's, I went to Bloomfield College, and that bachelor's degree was in management information systems. So, of course, it was computer-based. It helped me in any kind of management role. And then, of course, with the associates, I could do anything related to computer science. From there, I also was able to achieve the MBA, which is the Master's of Business Administration, and I achieved that at Felician University. The reason why I decided to do that was because I wanted to be a manager one day. So it gave me a chance to do a management track and finish the master's, which I believe is very important and has helped me, open different opportunities in my life. And of course, I just wanted to mention that I was also accepted into a doctoral program. I've only taken 2 courses so far, and that was also at Felician. But since I ended up, switching jobs, I'm going to be applying to the PhD program here at Kean University. So hopefully in the future, I'll be Dr. Daniel Flores. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about was the obstacles that I faced in terms of going into the college that I selected. So what ended up happening was that I applied to some major universities. I'm not going to name which ones they were, but let's just say that they were in New Jersey. Okay. So what ended up happening was that my guidance counselor told me that my grades weren't good enough to get into these universities. So at that point, I had to make a decision. Do I just quit and start working, or do I find other options for me to attend college? So one of the biggest options that I found was Union County Community College. And a lot of people at the time when I applied, looked down on community college for several reasons. But that to me seemed to be like the best option for me to be able to get a college education. Plus, my parents, like I mentioned previously, were not making a lot of money. So in terms of community college, those tuitions were affordable, and that's the only place that I was able to, find the education that I was looking for that my parents could pay for. So that's one of the biggest challenges that I faced going to community college and just the whole college process overall. It was always finances. My parents were always worried of where are we going to get the money to pay for the tuition? What money do we have to help you with your books and any other expenses that you have? So those are the biggest things that we had to face. Now, how I got started, when I was accepted at the community college, I started working at the bookstore, the local bookstore there at Union County. And that was one of my first jobs ever. He put me at the cash register. I was a sales associate when students would come in asking for their textbooks. And that was a great experience for me because, I've never had a job before, and this kid just, out of high school, I needed some extra money to help my parents for, pay some tuition bills, and then, of course, the books that I had to use for class. So that's one of the biggest things. But eventually, I was able to transfer over to Bloomfield College, where I was a student ambassador, and that's one of the. It was a paying job. So basically, what my job entailed is to provide families and the students applying with campus tours. So once I was able to achieve that, it gave me a lot of experience, and I was able to see exactly what counselors do, specifically admissions counselors. And I was motivated to go into that particular career. After working there for a couple years, I was able to move over to Rutgers University as a student ambassador as well. Not a student ambassador, but as a junior counselor. So when I applied to Rutgers University, I worked there for a couple years as a junior counselor, and then I moved over to Felician University, where I got my MBA, and I continued to work as an admissions counselor there. Eventually, I was promoted to associate director at Felician, and I was in charge of all events. I was in charge of marketing, in charge of recruitment. So I was very successful at that particular university. With all the education that I had under my belt, they felt that at the time it was a great position for me to have. And I was also an excellent recruiter. That's one of the biggest reasons why I was promoted 3 times there. Because you have to move up. You start out as a regular admissions counselor, then you move up to assistant director, then associate director. And that doesn't happen easily. So I just want to talk a little bit about my family. I have, of course, a mom and dad, and then, of course, a younger brother. And an extended family, which is about 15 cousins, which is, male and female, all mixed in there. On my dad's side, both of my grandparents, and of course my mom's side, both of my grandparents, and several other cousins on that end, so it's a huge family. And I think that, for Hispanic families, that's one of our biggest motivators, because our mom and dad, our younger siblings are always the motivation that we need to be able to achieve everything that we achieve. Because to me, family has always been the most important. My mom and dad have been my heroes because they really have been taking care of me since I was a young boy. And now that I'm a grown man, I think it's more than fair that I return the favor. Is that you have to be able to achieve something that no one can take from you. And the only thing that people can never take away from you is education. So that's why I think that, finishing school, high school, I'm talking about, going into a good college is the best thing that you can do for your family. Because that'll give you a chance to open different doors for them. And not only for them, but also for the entire family. So I think that's key in terms of going into college and finishing everything that you plan on doing in terms of that end.